deadline to get a real ID is just around the corner. Hafaday and Nick Delgado, welcome to the hub where America's stories begin. And what better place to tell you all you need to know than here at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Take a look at why it's important.
Folks, make sure you have your documents out ready to go.
It's an all-out effort to beat the clock that has lines out the door in Chicago. With only about 33% compliance statewide, Illinois opened this first-in-the-nation Real ID Supercenter last month in an old Walgreens location. It's processing about 1,500 people a day.
Come on around. All that empty space over there.
Starting May 7th, you'll need a Real ID to get into government buildings and through airport security.
What made you come in today?
Because I have a trip coming up May 10th, so I want to get it out the way.
I had to get the Real ID because I work in a government building, and I guess we can't get in without that.
This really is an effort to make up for lost time in Illinois. They want to move people through in about an hour from document check to photo to paperwork processing to checkout. But that Real ID will come in the mail in about 2 weeks. That's why time is running out.
Congress mandated the switch to Real ID after 9/11.
See your ID for a second.
The new IDs are more secure and harder to counterfeit. After lengthy delays, the deadline is now just weeks away.
We are told that it's going to happen.
TSA spokesperson Patricia Mancha.
Everybody is responsible for presenting the proper travel documents when they come to the checkpoint.
What happens if people don't have a compliant ID on May 7th?
Well, there's going to be a phased approach of enforcement, but people will experience travel delays.
Getting one means a trip to the DMV. Typically, you'll need a valid ID, passport, or birth certificate, proof of your social security number and date of birth, plus 2 items proving state residency. The deadline for enforcement is May 7th, but you'll still be able to get a Real ID after that deadline. The TSA has not laid out what that phased enforcement will look like, but if you have a passport or an active military ID, those will also work in the meantime. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Reagan National Airport.
Joining us now is the spokesperson for Department of Revenue and Taxation, Carlina Charfras. Hafaday, Carlina.
Hafaday, Nick. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So Real ID, first off, what does that mean?
Well, Real ID is essentially a federal government's way to ensure that you are who you are. As Guam's driver's license branch, we are charged with ensuring that you have the proper identification if you need it in lieu of a passport or if you're trying to get into a federal facility. So to begin with, we'd first like to say that you can tell that you have a Real ID if there's a star on the top of it. And second, if you must choose between a driver's license and a Guam identification in order for a Real ID. You cannot have both. You must choose between one or the other. And so what we've seen actually in last year, about 47% of the folks who came in for driver's license transactions opted for the Real ID option. Last year we had 69% of people who came in for Guam IDs who opted for the Real ID. So these are great numbers. We want to thank the community for being proactive, for coming out way before the deadline to get their Real ID and come into compliance if they need it. Rev Tax here at Rev Tax, we also want to remind folks that if you have a passport, you can still travel with that passport. It's one or the other to travel, right? And so majority of folks here on Guam, because where America's Day begins, and because we do typically have to travel a lot farther or between other countries, we already have passports. And so the push here is just, I think, really is to focus on if you need access to a federal facility. Yeah. And while I'm not quite sure if they accept passports on the military side, my understanding is that if you have other means of identification, that you can also use that in lieu of the Real ID. The other thing we want to remind folks is that the deadline of May 7th is to possess it and use it. Rev Tax will continue to accept Real ID applications and process them. So the deadline is to use it, and it's not a deadline to come and apply for it.
Wow. Okay, but after May 7th, will Reventax still be issuing
Yes.
regular IDs without it?
Yes, we will still be issuing regular IDs and real IDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the agency doing to prepare for an anticipated rush of applicants with that deadline looming?
Well, we want to make sure that we have the materials needed to produce these real IDs, whether it's a driver's license or an ID. So we are communicating with our vendor to also receive additional stock, but we have what is needed on hand. Again, we want to thank the community for being proactive and coming out way in advance. We've got almost 70% on the ID side and about 47% on the driver's license side who've come out already to do that. I do want to segment off and say that when coming in to apply for a real ID, whether it's driver's license or an ID, a government ID, we ask that you come early because the federal portal that we need to communicate with in order to complete the real ID transactions, it goes off for maintenance every day at around 3 or 3:30 p.m. So if you come in, for example, at 3 o'clock, we will begin the process. We will intake you. We are not turning folks away, but we will not be able to complete the transaction because we have to communicate with our federal counterparts off island to ensure that all safety protocols are in place and that they can verify on their end that we have done it properly and that we are communicating about the same person. So again, if you come in at 3 o'clock or 3:30, we will intake your application, we will process it and ask you to return the next day to complete the transaction, pay for it, and pick up your real ID.
Oh, at least you get a lot of the legwork out of the way, right? And not
Absolutely.
beating the line.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we do ask for the public's help if you are interested in the real ID option to please come in early, or you can schedule an appointment online at myid.guam.gov.
Okay. Based on your observation and speaking with the staff here, would you say that the process is pretty quick to obtain a real ID?
The process is a little bit longer simply because we have to communicate with our federal counterparts rather than the database that we hold for regular IDs and driver's licenses locally. So the process does take a little bit longer, about 20 to 30 minutes longer. And in addition to that, there's a little bit more legwork required of the consumer who's requesting the real ID. You will have to get your mayor's verification because it's a proof of residence. You will need to bring in your passport or social security card. And again, depending on the type of, there are other options. So for example, proof of citizenship, right? Or a naturalization card, we will also accept that. If you don't have a US passport, there are other options available for you to use, such as a tax verification that you can also get here at Reventax.
Okay. All right. And that kind of leads into my next question. Is the process, would you say, similar in getting the non-real ID driver's license?
Yes, it is similar with the exception of additional paperwork that you will need to bring in, like the mayor's verification and a social security card, for example. But the process is the same, more or less, with the addition of us having to communicate with our federal counterparts off island.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get my real ID today, and I'm gonna show you guys just what it takes to go through the process as well. I have my documents in hand. But Carlina, biggest piece of advice for our viewers here planning to get their real ID ahead of the May 7th deadline.
Please be patient with us. Here at Reventax, the driver's license branch is always busy, always busy. Even it's 4 o'clock on an afternoon on a Tuesday, and we still have a lobby full of folks. We are trying to get you in and out of here, again, as quick as possible. We just finished tax season yesterday. We ask the same thing of our patrons. Just be patient with us. We are doing everything we can to get you what you need on the same day, and if we cannot, we will take care of you the very next day.
Yeah, and don't forget all the paperwork that Kalina just mentioned.
Yes, please have all of your documents prepared. Please fill out the application in advance. If in doubt, please give us a call. I'll give you the number later. Please give us a call to verify what type of documents you need. We have our call center who is on standby to give you that information. Please have it ready with you so that we can help you get your real ID and get out of here as quick as possible.
All right, Carolina, thank you so much for your time. Now let's go get that real ID.
All right, let's go.
Afternoon. Half a day. Hi. Thank you. Doing well. Thanks for meeting with us today.
No problem. How can I help you? Have a seat right over
Oh,
here.
this side. It says don't move. Can I move it?
May I see your application? So in the blank highlighted area, will this be for 3 years or 5 years? So I'm going to highlight the areas that you need to fill out for me.
Okay.
Auto. Are you a registered voter, sir?
Yes.
So in the blank highlighted areas, I need for you to fill out.
Okay.
May I see your driver's license and your documents as
Yes. That.
passport, social security card, and your name.
Plenty of documents.
Social security.
There's that. There's that.
So go ahead and fill that out for me.
I don't know if you need this just because my name changed. Yeah.
Okay, we got a problem, sir. Your passport, you have not changed. Why?
No. That's my current legal name now. So the
Oh, I see.
yes. Don't know. It's fine.
Do you have your W-2s or 1099 to
Yes.
Delgado? Did you go ahead and request for the name change for your
I did, yeah. So that's already in the works. Bum, bum, bum.
Your check stub right there, do you know?
This one?
Can you see?
Yeah.
That's yours.
Thanks. It's all messed up. I have my W2. There you go. Here you go.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and fill that out for me.
All right. Thank you. Now we're in business.
Yes.
So filling out your application before is important, right? So that you're getting through this much faster. Lesson learned. All right, thank you.
Do you normally wear glasses while driving?
No.
So we are going to do it.
Okay.
So this is my machine right over here. You're going to look into the machine all the way in, touching your forehead and your nose. And you're going to read to me column A, line 2.
357248.
Column A, line 2.
Oh, sorry. 795823.
Next, column 2A.
534268.
We're going to go ahead and take your picture.
Okay.
So you're going to sit straight, you're going to look straight into my camera, and I'm going to have the camera just see you, okay?
Okay.
Ready, 1, 2, and 3. Nice. So Mr. Delgado, the earliest that you can renew is in June 3rd, 2025.
Okay.
This will only be a replacement.
Okay. All right. So, as you saw, there was a couple hiccups there in terms of making sure my documentation was in order. Make sure you have it organized. I have it all in my binder, but I have a lot of other things that are important in here as well. And just be ready to explain politely to whoever's here, because they're great in helping you just get your stuff together and get in and out as fast as possible.
Alright, so this is my signature.
Okay.
When you do your signature, you're going to sign as big as you can.
Okay.
Ready, set, and go.
Thank you. Big enough? Thanks. Want a mic up? Just received my receipt and now gonna make payment here. And with my receipt for payment, you head over here to card issuance window 16 or wherever they instruct you to go to pick up your Real ID. And just like that, a Real ID, you can see the star right there. Thanks for watching The Hub. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.